Rio Mount'n Jiu-jitsu coach Michał Dziekoński. I just want to talk about what do I feel about Jiu-jitsu, why would I recommend it, what are the benefits and also drawbacks of Jiu-jitsu. First and foremost, any form of martial art, in my opinion, any form of martial arts, including wrestling, um, let's say kickboxing, boxing, um, anything you can imagine as some sort of contact sport is a martial art. Um, so all those forms, if you basically all those forms challenge you, and to some this type of idea it's not beneficial. But if we talking about building yourself, creating and basically being stronger, tougher, mentally, physically, even spiritually, it's all about it. So speaking strictly about Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion, Jiu-Jitsu goes into two, maybe even three categories, maybe even more. One, like a distinct thing about it, is sport Jiu-Jitsu and more of a self-defense Jiu-Jitsu. I myself, for fun, I train sport Jiu-Jitsu, and I don't mean by competing, because I'm not such a competitor. I have competed quite a bit, but nothing crazy. And last time I competed was about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. What I mean by sports jiu-jitsu, I mean the game that is played as a sport. Because if we're talking like, let's say, berimbolos, spinning, sliding on your butt scooting, even playing certain leg locks positions, not all of them, but certain leg locks positions are only applicable in a sport of jiu-jitsu. And in self-defense, you can use them, of course, and you could use them even effectively, but you're asking for trouble. For example, leg locks, berimbolos, scooting on your butt. So for example, let's say scooting on your butt. If, let's say, you're facing somebody that has striking experience and, let's say, some wrestling experience, and you sit on your butt and are far away from your opponent, did not connect your body to him, it's very likely you can get kicked in the head. So in that sort of perspective, sports of jiu-jitsu might not be as effective. But that being said, like a decent person that knows sport of jiu-jitsu would face somebody that has no idea or has very little idea about martial arts, it's likely the guy with sport jiu-jitsu knowledge will actually do very good against like an average human. That being said, a lot of sport jiu-jitsu people that don't cross-train with striking, even wrestling. That's another thing is, so I understand nowadays most people in jiu-jitsu train wrestling, but even I myself, for a very long time, I neglected wrestling, and I feel bad about it, let's say, because at some point I was actually a bad scooter, and I still am bad scooter for fun. But if we're going back to more of a self-defense idea or like MMA application, a lot of techniques that go with sport of jiu-jitsu become abstract. And if we're talking those abstract techniques, yes, they work great for sport of jiu-jitsu, but if we're talking human-to-human contact where people trying to hurt you, some of those techniques are not even applicable. And once again, let me repeat myself. Some of those can be applicable if they are done in a right, quick fashion, intense way. Sure, I'm not going to say that because, for example, I have some sort of MMA experience, and I believe if I would face a strictly a leg locker that doesn't have much experience in striking and doesn't have much experience, let's say, in wrestling, I think I would be able to get that guy. Obviously, hypothetically speaking, and obviously he probably would be able to get me as well. The point is this: I know how to avoid those positions altogether, and let's say even if I be getting in those positions, before they would lock things in, I'll be punching them really hard in the head. And once again, if let's say you're trying to fight somebody and you sit on your butt on the ground and don't connect yourself to them, you are asking for trouble. But that being said, I guess, so let's say this also, a self-defense type of jiu-jitsu, for example, I do enjoy ground game, meaning being on the bottom game. And I myself, I actually like it quite a bit, and you know, it's fun to me to do it. But let's say if I would want to fight self-defense, or a fight or self-defense or really competitive mindset, all I'm doing, all I be trying is to be on top. What I be working at is to be on top. If I would end up on the bottom, either I would want to snatch a quick submission or a quick sweep and basically work back to my feet. For most part, if I could catch a submission, also I would work a submission. You know, even if I contradict myself, you know, there are benefits of, let's say, going for a leg lock if you can execute in a quick fashion and, let's say, sweep somebody, right? So, you know, all of this can cross-train. Well, also let me talk about it more in like a deeper martial arts idea. So one of the reasons why I enjoy Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts in general is because I really like the reality of it. In martial arts, you can kind of bullshit yourself here and there with certain things, but at the end of the day, you will face people that will challenge you. And if you face people that challenge you, you cannot just pretend you are amazing because you go out there on the mats and you have to prove it. For many people, that's literally frightening, but if you have this idea of yourself of being the best or being good, or not even that, you just want to be as good as possible. That's my perspective. I always want to be as good as possible. That is what you're looking for. You want to be challenged. So for example, at this moment, I'm running my own gym, real Mount'n Jiu-jitsu, and at this moment we don't really have like a high level guys that basically are on my level. But even that being said, even few of my students, no matter this could sound bad or not, I'm just reality, they have, you know, few of my students have few years of experience, and I have few students that are really like crazy athletes. They challenge me. Obviously, I have years of experience ahead of them, so I can handle myself. But even that, it's a challenge, right? So sometimes, to me, my approach to Jiu-Jitsu at this moment is I don't really need to prove anything to anyone, but even my students can challenge me. So sometimes it can be taxing, but overall it actually motivates me to be as strong and as good as possible. The one thing with me is, so the way I approach Jiu-Jitsu is longevity. So I don't do all gas, no breaks. I understand competitors like that and they don't mind doing it. And also, if we're talking competitive approach, I get it. But my approach is more longevity, more of a, you can call it hobbyist. Also, I'm here to teach, I'm here to spread the love, spread the art of Jiu-Jitsu. So that's how I view it. Many other benefits of Jiu-Jitsu: physical, mental. One of the things I love about Jiu-Jitsu, when you go in there and start rolling, you are truly in the moment. You not pay attention to your phone, you not pay attention to whatever's going on back home, back at work. You just are, you become, you know, person at the moment, and it's also it's like animal instincts in a good way. That's definitely a benefit. Another benefit is you learn a lot, and if you enjoy it, it's like a great progression. You actually can see your progression as you go in the class and learn. One thing is, though, it takes time. Some people are, people that devote themselves and maybe with some extra talent, physicality, maybe few years of wrestling, they can pick up certain things super quickly. Also, like I mentioned, I had students that are not only talented but also like very athletically gifted. They are very much like athletic athletes. Those type of students, those type of people can really excel really quickly. Uh, I have few students, in my opinion, if they would stick with Jiu-Jitsu and really devote themselves, they could probably be beating me up within a year. And once again, I myself, I actually love this. I look forward to my students beating me up at some point. Um, any other benefits? Social, definitely socially, respect, discipline. Even just talking to people. Lately, I've been talking to many people that even tell me themselves they are socially awkward. And I myself, I was extremely socially awkward. I could say I was even at some point in my life borderline schizophrenic, and I was scared to even face people and period. But because I trained jiu-jitsu, and because of jiu-jitsu I interacted with so many people as a student, and now as a teacher it's even on another level. I got through that social anxiety, and in some ways I still have social anxiety, but it's nowhere near and not even remotely anywhere close to what I used to be. So definitely there is immense amount of benefits when it comes to jiu-jitsu, and also even self-defense. I gave you two sides of the story depending how you train, also depending what is your mentality. In my opinion, you should cross-train. You should definitely do wrestling. I know most people that do jiu-jitsu do wrestling, so for most part, most jiu-jitsu schools do some sort of form of wrestling. And also, in my opinion, if you want to be more of a complete martial artist, you must train striking. My striking of choice is kickboxing all day. I don't really differentiate between Dutch, even traditional kickboxing, or Muay Thai. I actually cross-train in all of the above. Wrestling, I never been a wrestler, but I train wrestling. My cup of tea with wrestling is more of a Greco-Roman. I'm not a fast, twitchy, double leg guy, let's say, but I can play some of that as well. And let me say a couple negatives, but let me emphasize most of the things that I say are negative. It's not majority. It's just a few people here and there. So some negatives are things like unhealthy competitiveness. You will get people that are, they have too much ego, and they like to like smash, destroy people, right? So one thing that so I think jiu-jitsu can be great for beginners, and even for people to get into, but I believe actually kickboxing is way better because nobody's trying to break your neck, nobody's on top of you sweating. Sometimes you can end up in a situation when like sweaty man with ego issues trying to literally really smash you, like makes you like basically I'm losing a word, but sometimes you will find a situation where people are literally smashing you because they have ego issues and they don't understand they should be taking easy on beginners and letting them work. So ego issues is one of those things. Possibility of injury. I myself, I run classes, safety first and foremost, and I emphasize safety in like a huge way, crazy way. And sometimes even people think I'm like a softie. It's not about being softie, it's about training, putting in the hours, and it's better not to get hurt and keep on training than getting hurt over and over and not training. So at my beginning of my jiu-jitsu career, I actually understood this for myself. And it's crazy because some people train for years and they always do the same thing. They just go too hard and hurt themselves over and over. I realized at the very beginning, after like 6, 8 months, maybe 10 months of training, maybe a year, I notice I have a messed up neck. I notice I have a messed up shoulder. I notice non-stop I'm messing something up. And I actually started thinking, how is this happening? And in all actuality, it was my fault. I was too intense, too competitive, also had too much ego issues. And I realized if I want to do this for a long time, I gotta calm down. So also something that I always say, you gotta watch out for yourself and watch out for your training partners. Unfortunately, there is this YouTube highlight mentality type of people that just want to finish people and they don't care for their own health and other people's health. But let me re-emphasize, that's like small group of people. Most people in Jiu-Jitsu are very humble, down-to-earth individuals. Any other, so another minus is depending how the gym is run. Because if the gym is run in a not intelligent way, many like instructors will basically just let people loose and let people just fuck each other up. In my opinion, it's good to kind of control the room, and I know many instructors do so, but it's good to control the room, and it's good to talk about those situations, like leave the ego at the door. Do your best not to hurt your training partner, right? Watch out for yourself, watch out for them. Also, what I do not let people slam, period. Whatever's going on, you cannot slam people. You can pick people up, but then let them down gently. Also, I want to avoid spazzy movements, especially with wrestling, like dropping your whole weight and using that for a takedown. Or, just like a random movement that nobody expects, right? Spazzy white belt type of mentality. But the funny thing is, you can even find people that are purple belt that behave like spazzy white belt, right? So, all this sort of stuff. I'm trying to think of any other negative. Nothing comes to my mind. I'm sure there is other things there. But in general, Jiu-Jitsu is great to get into for your mind, body, and soul. If you want to be a strong individual, if you want to feel confident, discipline, also accountability, reliability, also the social aspect of it. You will meet a lot of amazing people. This is one thing I didn't really mention. Throughout many years of my Jiu-Jitsu journey, I've been training over 12 years, I met amazing amount of people that, from all walks of life. But for example, most people that I train with are actually very unique individuals, and not so often you will just find like a damas there. Actually, for most part, you will actually find a lot of artists, a lot of business owners, yari yari, yari yari. It's a sweet sport, and for example, people that stick with it, for most part, are very strong, well-balanced individuals. So also, nowadays, many people are around bad crowds. I think if you train Jiu-Jitsu, most likely you're going to find a pretty decent group of people. Obviously, not always. Some, like the MMA aspect, because many people train Jiu-Jitsu because of MMA. And I'm not calling MMA people like dumb, because many MMA people are amazing people. But like the average person that wants to do MMA often is like a brute. And yes, don't take me with a grain of salt, because it's not always like that. But for example, the MMA crowd, a lot of them, they looking for trouble, Kickboxing is an interesting thing, because you will get a solid mixture of super cool people, and most of them are amazing. But also in kickboxing, you will also get brute people that straight up looking to hurt you. I also always watch out for that. But let me say this one more time. I recommend martial arts in general. Very much recommend Jiu-Jitsu. Just be aware, it's not exactly what some people say it is. It is an awkward sport. It is a little bit tricky to get into, but if you're really fascinated about it, you can do it. And for most part, if you don't have ego issues and you just are ready to pretty much be the nail, not the hammer at the beginning, you will do fine and you might love it, and probably you will love it. So what I say, everybody should try any form of martial arts, but that it does not mean it's for every single person, but every single person should try. Just my thoughts about mainly Jiu-Jitsu and a little bit of martial arts outline. I will be making more of the videos like this. Like, share, subscribe. I also run a school in Bradford, PA, 13 Robert Street. If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Rio Mount'n Jiu-jitsu, Instagram, Rio Mount'n Jiu-jitsu, and also my personal page, Facebook, Michał Dziekoński. I want to see you guys on the mats, and it doesn't matter if it's my school or somebody else's school, and doesn't matter if it's kickboxing, wrestling, even traditional martial arts like karate, let's say taekwondo, even tai chi, whatever it is. If you can find a mind, body and soul connection through those type of arts, I'm all for it. I'm all for your improvement, and let's uplift each other and let's maximize our potential together. Take care, guys. Have a good one.